Daddy, you earned 1,000 subscribers.
Let me see that. Wow, that is great. Let's party.
I want to thank everyone who subscribed to me for the past year. Thank you so much. 1,000 subscribers, that's incredible. What?
Oh no. You want to hear the bad news or the good news? First.
The good news.
The good news is I found a nickel.
What's the bad news?
You're back down to 999 subscribers.
I'm back down to 999 subscribers?
I guess the celebration's on hold until I get one more subscriber. So while we're waiting, let's review Dokapon Kingdom for the Wii.
Dokapon Kingdom!
Someone must have been looking at a normal party game for the Wii and thought to themselves, what if instead of mini games, we decide to let the players kill monsters and other players? Because that's what Dokapon Kingdom is in a nutshell. To describe what the game is like, I would say it's a mix of Lunar and Mario Party. And it also has the downfalls of those series as well. As in Lunar, level building is simple but a bit boring. And in Mario Party, the game relies too much on luck since you have to use a spinner to decide where you can go. But this is a party game. It's made to be played with up to 4 players. You can play the game alone, but it's not as much fun. When you're making up your character, they give you a couple options to choose from, but not really that much customization, which is a bit disappointing. You'll also have to choose from 3 different jobs in the game: Magician, Warrior, and Thief. You can play the game in 3 different modes: Story Mode, Normal Mode, and Battle Royale. Normal and Battle Royale are great if you want to play a quick game. However, the Story Mode, on the other hand, can take up to 20 hours to complete, depending on how good or lucky you are. The story is pretty shallow. The king has summoned all the best warriors in the land to take back his kingdom from the monsters who have infested it. If you end up as the best of the warriors, you can rule the kingdom and marry his daughter, even if you're playing as a girl. The story mode is broken up into chapters, usually ending with some lame plotline where you have to go somewhere on the map and then return to some other part of the map. Fetch quests in a board game. All the modes play the same. You spin a number spinner and you move the amount of spaces you are shown. You can only move in one direction, so you can't go back and forth on a space you're trying to land on. As you go through the board, you'll have to land on spaces that will either be lucky, have a monster on them, a random character who will ask you for a favor or sell you something, or be a shop where you can buy better weapons or spells. If it's one of the many bosses that have taken over one of the towns in the game, if you beat them, you'll liberate the town and take control of it. Each turn you take counts as a day in the game world. At the end of the week, they'll give you a rundown on how much money you've earned, as well as giving you tax money from the towns you liberated. Combat is very simplified in this game. You choose from 4 different attacks and defenses. You choose them by pressing the up, down, left, or right button on your D-pad. When you're on defense, you're going to want to guess what the other player is going to throw at you, and use the correct defense for it, much like rock, paper, scissors, without the stupid helmets or hammers. You will find that the game board you're playing on is ridiculously large. You can play the game with 4 people, and even if one of your friends leave, they give you the option to switch out a human player for a CPU. But that kind of takes the fun out of it. The least amount of players you can play in this game is 2, you and another player, or you and the computer. So if you're alone, you'll have to play against the computer. You can make the computer a little bit easier on you by toggling the difficulty level down. However, I say a little easier since the computer is an expert player and rarely makes mistakes. It also doesn't help when the computer seems to always get the best spins. You can use items to help yourself or hinder opponents. They were either bought or won at a roulette wheel space. Honestly, there are so many different things that could happen while traveling through the board, I can't possibly touch on them all. So it will always be a different experience every time you play. If you do die though, which you will, you'll be sent back to the castle for a certain number of turns, which happen to me way too often. If you want to play a quick game, you can set up the parameters of it. For example, what level you want your character to start at, or how many weeks you want to play. Every time you find a new enemy or collect a new item, it'll add it to the gallery. At the gallery, you can see all the stuff that you've seen, and it'll give you a little backstory on them. Dokapon Kingdom was fun when it wasn't beating me in the ground with its difficulty level on taking on the computer. However, it does a really good job of finding ways to keep the least powerful players a viable threat during the whole game. Here's my problem with the game though. It's not your normal party game that's simple to play and master. This is definitely a thinking man's party game, since the games are a lot more complex than your normal party game for the Wii. So that might turn away some of the normal casual Wii owners. But if you're looking for a different party game for your next get-together, I recommend you rent this game.
Daddy, you're back at 1,000 subscribers again.
All right. Thanks, little Wiiviewer. And I want to thank everybody who's ever subscribed to me. Thank you so much.
Oops, never mind. You lost another subscriber. You're at 999.